Hi everyone, this is Eldad Amara and this is my channel Eyes Wide Shut. I've already done 2 videos about bees and bees decline and the possibility of why bees are on decline. This is part 3 to this video and I'm going to jump straight into this. I tried to do a live stream earlier but I was having so much problems with this certain company. Now let me read this article out to you. As a pollinator, bees drink the sweet nectar of flowers, move between plants and transfer pollen. This fertilizes different species so they can produce fruit and seeds. Pollinators are vital for life on Earth. Without them, we wouldn't have potatoes, strawberries, tomatoes, coffee, chocolate, or cotton. But they're currently in trouble. Their numbers are in real decline due to a number of factors including disease, habitat loss and the impact of pesticides. We can see that just about every little piece of land, houses have been built onto them or factories, and that means the decline of animals and species. Not only that, but we're using a lot of pesticides on crops now, and so because of this is also causing decline of certain species of animals and certain insects and things such as bees. But it's not only just that, okay? There are other reasons besides people building on green spaces. Not only the fact that people are using pesticides, but there's other reasons too, and we shall see. Archaeological ways of farming, like organic, create havens for insect species, including bees. Did you know that organic farms have an average of 30% more biodiversity? Here are our top 10 favorite facts about bees to get you buzzing. 690 million is the mind-boggling amount that insect pollination is worth to the UK crops each year. 690 million, man. 76% of globally important commercial crops depend on insect pollination. This equates to 1 in 3 mouthfuls of food. Right, number 2. Waggle dance is used by bees to teach each other about direction and location of food sources over 6 kilometers away, known as a sat-nav for bees. Bees perform precise movements to tell other bees in the hive exactly where they have found their new fantastic food source. Watch the video below to see what incredible buzzing boogie looks like yourself. Bees have 4 wings, not 2. They actually hook them together to form one big pair when flying, and then unhook them when they are not flying. Interesting. Number 4. An average organic farm supports 75% more wild bees than non-organic. Organic farming can improve the number of bees found in habitats surrounding the farm. This is because organic farmers use fewer pesticides and have a higher amount of bee-friendly habitats like wildflower margins. Number 5. The average hive produces about 11 kilograms of honey during a season. That's a lot, man. 11 kilograms of honey during a season. That's how much they produce. Yeah? That's one hive. That's the equivalent of 24 jars. Bees must fly about 55,000 miles just to make 1 pound of honey. Did you hear that? Bees must fly about 55,000 miles just to make 1 pound of honey, which is less than half a kilo. Number 6. 20,000 species of bee live around the world, with over 250 species in the UK. Not all bees produce honey. Solitary bees, as their name suggests, like to live on their own. They don't have a queen and they don't live in hives. Number 7. Some amazing solitary bee species include leafcutter bees and masonry bees. Leafcutter bees construct their own homes from thick stemmed plants, rotted wood and leaves. Masonry bees are found inside naturally occurring holes in bricks and mortar joints. Number 8. Bees bounce back. Bees are really responsive to change in their habitat. For every 10% increase in bee-friendly habitats, like those on organic farms, bee numbers and diversity increases by over a third. In the organic grain fields, you can find up to 7 times more bees. Number 9. Bee colonies are a hive of activity. One queen, hundreds of male drones, and thousands of female workers make up a single average honey bee hive. Number 10. In the UK, many species of bees are declining, with 2 bumblebee species already known to be extinct. As a charity, we're working to protect our vital wildlife and promote nature-friendly farming across the country. Right, there's so many reasons why bees are on decline, and especially since 2020. Right. Now, since 2020, what has been going on? There's things being sprayed up in the sky, and I can't mention what it is. Right, things being sprayed up in the sky to try and block out the sunlight, because certain scientists and those higher uppers think that the planet is getting too hot, and so they're trying to find ways to cool the planet down. So what are they doing? They're blocking out the sunlight, and these chemicals, some people say, are also the cause of why certain species are declining. Species such as bees and other insects. And that's been happening since about 2020. Bees have slowly started to decline. Not only that, they have less space to move around in, less of a habitat. Because what are people doing? Building houses just on just about every piece of green field. And so the bees and other animals have nowhere to be able to go. So they start to die out. You start to see, for example, in the cities now, a lot of foxes and a lot of seagulls. You never used to see this years ago. But because their habitats have been taken over by man, where else can they go? Otherwise, they're going to just die out. And there's another thing. GMO foods. Some scientists reckon that GMO foods are also the reason why bees may be on the decline. Let me read on. I asked co-pilot these following questions. Is there any links between bee decline and 5G towers in the UK or the USA? The potential link between 5G towers and bee population decline is a topic of debate. Some sources suggest that electromagnetic fields, that's EMFs for short, from wireless networks, including 5Gs, could impact bees and other wildlife, citing concerns about orientation, reproduction, and survival. However, other sources argue that there is no solid scientific evidence proving that 5G directly harms bees. There's been some research done on 3 and 4Gs though. Some research done on 3 and 4Gs though, and it has shown that this has led to some bee decline. One study reviewed environmental effects of rising EMF levels and suggested that they could be a form of pollution affecting wildlife. On the other hand, skeptics highlight that past studies on electromagnetic waves and bees were flawed or inconclusive. They're flawed or inconclusive. If you see my last video where I'm talking about bees and bee decline, it seemed to suggest that 3 and 4G towers were leading to bee decline. Why? Because bees couldn't find a way back to their nest because of the electrical magnetic waves. Right? They couldn't navigate and find their way back to their nests. Whilst discussions continue, the major known causes of bee decline remain habitat loss, pesticides, climate change, disease. If you're interested in learning more, you can check out different perspectives here. Right, so now another question I asked Copilot was, is there any correlation between GMO foods and bee decline? And this is what Copilot said. The link between GMO foods and bee decline is debated. Some studies suggest that genetically modified crops, particularly those engineered for pest resistance, may impact bees by altering their food sources or exposing them to new environmental factors. However, research indicates that Bt crops, which produce insecticidal proteins, do not directly harm bees. A bigger concern is the use of pesticides associated with GMO agriculture. Neonicotinoids, let me spell that out, Neonicotinoid. Neonicotinoid pesticides, often used on GMO crops, have been linked to bee population decline by affecting their immune systems, navigation, and reproduction. Some scientists argue that GMOs themselves are not the issue, but rather farming practices surrounding them, such as monoculture and pesticide use. Overall, while GMOs may play a role in bee decline, habitat loss, climate change, pesticide exposure remain the primary threats to bee populations. Now, there's other things such as what they're spraying from the skies as well may be affecting bees. If bees die out, we are going to be in big trouble, because within 3 to 4 years the human population could decline, because we live in an ecosystem. One thing depends on another. Bees pollinate flowers and plants, and then these flowers and plants, such as berries, fruits and nuts, other animals depend on, such as foxes, such as squirrels, such as pigs, cows, and all the rest of them. If they decline, then the thing that depends on them for food source, if they decline, then it has a knock-on effect, a cascading effect. So, could you imagine if bees, which is our primary source of pollination, if they start to decline, we're going to be in some big trouble. I don't think we realise just how important bees are for us and for the survival basically of a lot of species also. Now, I want you to get a piece of fruit, a piece of organic fruit and a piece of inorganic fruit. I want you to leave it outside in the sunlight and see how many animals will go, or insects will go for the inorganic food, and how many animals will go for the organic. Do it. Get a piece of fruit, a banana, apple, or orange, something like that. Put it outside, and make sure you got one organic and one inorganic piece of fruit, and see what happens. See how many insects land on the inorganic food compared to the organic. You're going to see a big difference